Hi everybody, welcome back to the latest in our series of mind-setting videos with Steve Backley and Roger Black. So the topic this week is productivity, and as an accountant, I'm pretty familiar with productivity, especially with the year that we've just had where things seem to have been pretty relentless at times. So my question really is, what advice would you have for anybody that struggles to maintain productivity day in, day out?
It's a great question, Malcolm. One possibly we should be asking you.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, from an athlete's perspective, of course, we had to get that right because we had to make sure that the energy we would expend in training was productive in the outcome that we were striving for. So whilst that is incredibly simple, and we always admit, hold our hands up that the sporting world is incredibly simple compared to the, maybe the worlds that we're comparing it to, but it does offer us, a metaphor to life that, you could be a busy fool and train, 8 hours in the gym every day and make no gains. That is not productive. And conversely, you could sit on your backside all day and make no gains. So where you spend your energy is clearly as important in sport as it is in business. And I suppose the point here is to make sure that we're optimizing our energy. So what we talk about on the program and we delve into some detail and we encourage practice around is the ability to decipher what is important and a lot of simple messages within this part of the program. But when you get it right and when you take on the advice that we point you to in the program, it gives you the ability to maybe not sweat the small stuff, to maybe quit while you're ahead and back off, because sometimes that's important. Self-sabotage is quite common, and to just make sure that we've optimized our days. And if we do that day in, day out, we're flying.
I think the other thing, certainly as an athlete, was you can get overwhelmed by, there's so many parts to performance. There's nutrition, there's weight training, there's psychology, there's this. And have I got the right spikes? Have I got the right kit? What's the weather going to be like? And you can get overwhelmed with that. And when I was at my very best in the Atlanta Olympics in 1996, I managed to sort of get rid of the stuff that, because people are always giving you advice. And I'm sure it's the same in business. People have always got an opinion. But I think it's that little voice in your head, and maybe for the people that are closer to you, your coaches, your mentors, and really understanding what is it that I need to do to ultimately get me to run fast. It's not about anything, because it was as simple as that. And you can't do everything. So you've got to decide what you focus on, and make that really simple and do it really well. Because one of the things you'll hate me saying this, Malcolm, one of the things I've never understood is when people bill by the hour. Because as an athlete, people used to always ask us, how hard do you train? And if I said to you, I train for 10 hours a day, really hard, you'd go, wow, that's amazing, every day of the week. But actually, the truth was, I could do something in 15 minutes that would lay me out exhausted. But if I did that right, that was far more valuable than me training for 10 hours. So, I think, you should be judged on the value you bring, not how much time you spend. There are many athletes who train really, really hard. In fact, they're the ones that train too hard. They have to be training. And they're not the ones you see on telly winning the medals, because they're the ones who are probably injured most of the time and look great, but don't actually focus on what matters, which is turning up and racing and delivering. So when it comes to productivity, I don't think it's the volume of productivity that matters. I think it's deciphering what's important, what are the most important things to focus on that are going to result in me delivering a very high performance. And sometimes less is more. It certainly was as an athlete. As I got older, I learned to train smarter, not harder. And in business, I think that's something that I think is relevant as well. Because as Steve said earlier, we can all become busy fools. And it all looks great. And wow, we're really busy. But actually, the people who you want to look at are the people who don't seem to be that busy, but they're creating fantastic results because they've probably worked it out.
Guys, that's fantastic advice. I think everybody that will be watching this will benefit from working smarter and not harder, because there are so many things that we could all be doing, and it's picking that right one, isn't it? So thanks again. We'll see you next week for the next one in the series.